Ever since its launch in 2004, the PSP is regarded by many as a successful handheld machine. That's because you could not only play quality games of PlayStation delivered by their home consoles on the go, but the PSP was capable of connecting to internet, playing music, movies, and much more. So finally, 2 decades later, I decided to get my hands on the PSP 3000 model, which by many is regarded as one of the best ways to experience PSP because of its screen and some of the ergonomics. Here at the front of the box, we have the snapshot of the product itself, the logo, and it's in piano black. Here are the sides of the box, a bit scratched, but I think the box is in still pretty good condition. On the other side, the box is again a bit scrapped, but in good condition. On the top, some information of the product, the snapshot. On the back, we have again some information. Now let's open this box and see what's really inside it. And I am actually pretty excited because I've been wanting to get this since 2009, but I couldn't really get it, and for past 9 years I've been actually buying a lot of PlayStation 3 and 4. But anyways, when you open the box, here you see that first we get the charging cable. Now this is pretty long. I really don't know exactly how long this is, but it is pretty long. And then we get the 5 volts AC adapter, which helps charging the system. And the battery life of PlayStation Portable is pretty good. I'm going to attach the charging cable with it, so we can put it aside and test it later on. Although I did test it later and it did work, so I am happy that everything is in pretty good condition. I got this for 7,000 rupees, which I think is a great deal because most box PSPs were selling for pretty high price. Next we got manuals, and I am a huge fan of these. I love getting box products of old systems with manuals in mint condition because yes, if it was 2010, I would sit down and read these. Nowadays I don't really have that much time, but I always like seeing these manuals, and it just gives a great nostalgic feeling. Inside we also have the PSP Carry Case, which came with the PSP itself. Again, I bought this one used, so it came with a lot of stuff and it's jailbroken. The case has a pretty good quality and it feels pretty nice holding in hands. We're going to slowly open this and see how is the system inside, and whoever had this system before, how well he took care of it. Inside the case you also have some place to put your UMDs. Now the screen have some small dots on it. They feel like dust particles, not like dent or anything else. But I cleaned up the system after unboxing it, and these dots don't go. I really don't know what these are. They really feel like dust particles, but I think there's just some dust or something inside the screen. I don't know. There was the front, then we have the back with the logo, and well, at the top we have the UMD tray where you could put your UMDs. Now I'm not going to get into collecting PSP because UMDs are cheap, but again, not gonna go into it. Next we have the battery. This, if I believe, is a 1200 mAh battery with a 3.6 volts, and it's in a pretty good shape. On the side we pretty much have the the SD card tray, and you can put the SD card inside, and I'm going to pull it out to show you. This came with the 16 gigabyte Samsung micro SD card. You can get the Sony ones as well, but they're a bit expensive, so you can get any third-party SD cards, SanDisk or whatnot, and it's going to do the job well done. I am going to be using this 16 gigabyte card for a little time, but eventually I'll just upgrade to 128 because I want to explore the wonders of PSP and everything it has delivered over the years with some really great Japanese exclusive games, which also have some English patches right now, and you can get them, which is again one of the benefits of buying this system this late in its life cycle. And since Sony no longer makes handhelds, the PSP really feels timeless. Here we have the power button, which you're going to turn it on, so the PSP is going to turn on. And here is the system. Now, my camera and the lighting effects are not doing much justice, but I'm still going to try my best to make it look good. Here we have the charging port. This is the bottom. You have the audio jack. Here's again the SD card tray. And along that we also have the L button. I don't really know what it's called, but then we go to the top and here we have the micro USB port, and I really don't know what this button is exactly for, but then we have the Sony logo, the Wi-Fi, the directional buttons, the joystick, the quit button, volume buttons, PSP logo, screen brightening. We also have the music, start select, action buttons, and the R button. And in general, the PSP looks pretty nice. Using it in hand really felt good, and it really didn't feel very small, because compared to Vita or some of the other handheld consoles that came after it, it felt pretty small, but it really doesn't once you hold it. Here are some pictures which I actually got and downloaded in my SD card to see how it really feels, and honestly it just felt like it just time traveled back to 2005. Now, here's the custom firmware which was installed. Again, the lighting isn't much great, but I will try my best to do justice to this video. Here's the PSP logo, the really great, and yeah, the system is pretty snappy, and just seeing the old PlayStation logo, the way you see internet. Here are some of the old games that were already on this system, and I really love it, you know, just like it's great. Here are some of the new games that I downloaded on the SD card. I got some Fairy Tales, we got the Dead Knights, Undead Knights, Tekken 6, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max, which is still on PSP, and PSP feels really great. Unfortunately, some of these games are still in Japanese and they don't have English patches, but nonetheless, they're still fun to play and you don't understand anything. I do love this a lot, and I honestly betting my best friend's gonna love it because he's a huge anime fan. And my time that I have spent with this system for a few days is great. I think the PSP is a great device. You should get one, and yeah, I'm really going to upgrade myself to the 128GB of SD card, and then later get the Vita and explore Vita's library. I just love these backgrounds in the XMB. Here, listen to Phantasy Star 2 Infinity XMB theme. Or the Undead Knights. In general, it's a blast to have this console, and I'm so glad I have it. Some of the perks is that you can play some of the old Japanese games with English patches, and I'm glad I finally got my hands on this. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in and watching it. I hope you take good care.